Hey, janitor. If you're so smart, fix it now. No one expected the man in the worn blue uniform to pause, to look up with eyes that carried decades of quiet storms, and then do something that would change the entire city forever. They laughed, pointing at the man crouched by the base of the Grand Hall's broken generator. His hands were rough, calloused from years of work no one cared to notice. A mop leaned against the wall behind him, its damp head dripping onto the marble floor. "Hey, janitor," one of the suited men sneered, his voice sharp enough to cut through the chatter. "If you're so smart, fix it now." The others chuckled, their laughter echoing in the high ceilings. They didn't know, couldn't know, that the man they mocked had once kept entire cities from falling into darkness. His name was Samuel Hayes. 62 years old. A veteran of places most people only read about. Long before the faded uniform and quiet steps through polished corridors, he had been the one in charge. Coordinating emergency grids in war zones, keeping hospitals lit while bombs fell miles away. But here, in his own hometown, he was just the janitor. Years earlier, Samuel had returned home after decades of service overseas. His hands had built power systems in the blistering heat of deserts, and his eyes had stared into the cold glow of control rooms while the world outside shook. He'd missed birthdays, anniversaries, and even his father's funeral, always on call, always repairing what others depended on. The city had changed while he was gone. Jobs disappeared, and the only work Samuel could find was cleaning the very buildings whose systems he once designed. He never complained. A man's worth, he believed, isn't in his title but in his work. Now, standing in the city's municipal building, the main generator had failed. The entire grid for the downtown district was moments from collapse. The officials bickered, arguing about who to call, how much it would cost, and who to blame. Not one of them looked at Samuel, until he spoke. "I know what's wrong," he said simply. They stared, then burst into laughter. A janitor claiming to fix the city's central power system? Absurd. Samuel didn't argue. He simply walked toward the control panel. The onlookers fell silent, not out of respect, but out of disbelief. His fingers hovered over the panel, tracing the edges like an old friend. He saw what they couldn't, a simple bypass, buried beneath outdated wiring, a flaw no rookie would notice. One of the officials leaned in, smirking. "Go ahead, hero. Show us." Samuel reached into his tool pouch, not for a mop handle or rag, but for a small, worn-out multi-tool. With slow precision, he adjusted a hidden switch, rerouted a circuit, and tightened a connection. The hall lights flickered, once, twice, then blazed to life. Outside, the street lamps returned. Stores lit up. Traffic signals resumed their steady glow. Across the district, people cheered as life returned to normal. The men in suits stood frozen. The man they'd mocked had just saved them from a citywide shutdown. Samuel looked at them, not with anger, but with calm certainty. Never mistake quiet for weakness. And then, softer, almost to himself. Respect isn't given. It's earned, and kept. Within an hour, news of the incident spread. Photos of the janitor who saved the city appeared online. People recognized him, not for the mop in his hand, but for the quiet hero he'd always been. The mayor himself arrived, shaking Samuel's hand in front of the same men who had laughed at him. This time, no one made a sound. In a world quick to judge by titles and uniforms, Samuel reminded everyone that true value isn't always visible. Some battles are fought silently, with hands that never stop working and a heart that never stops caring. As the city lights shone bright that night, Samuel walked home under their glow, not needing applause, just satisfied that he'd done what he was born to do. Because sometimes, the greatest power is not in the noise you make, but in the quiet truth of what you can do.